A couple of weeks ago, the most liberal pope ever compared the European Union to a dictatorship. And I completely agree, because the behavior of the European Union and the socialists and communists leading it has been one of removing sovereignty from each member state. The European Union also dilutes democracy because the people that create laws for those in the European Union are not even elected by the people of Europe, as is the case for those appointed to the European Commission. Not to mention the fact that the European Union has ignored referendums from people in Europe because the results were not what the Eurocrats wanted. So the European Union is a dictatorship in formation, no doubts about that. But this is true for quite a few years now. Why is the Pope criticizing the European Union now? This is due to a document that the European Commission created that identifies guidelines for inclusive communication. By those words alone, you already know that this is the typical far-left talking points. But let's analyze this document in some detail to better understand why the Pope compared the European Union to a dictatorship. Let's start with the very first paragraph. Everyone in the European Union has an inherent right to be treated equally and hence to be included and represented, regardless of their gender, racial or ethnic origin, religion or belief, disability, age or sexual orientation. Besides, people are complex beings with multiple characteristics and identities. It is therefore important to reflect this in our communication to ensure that no one is left behind. Notice the part about no one being left behind. However, if you look at a few pages later, you have this. Avoid assuming that everyone is Christian. Not everyone celebrates the Christian holidays, and not all Christians celebrate them on the same dates. Be sensitive about the fact that people have different religious traditions and calendars. And who created the document identifies things you should avoid saying. Like, for example, Christmas time can be stressful, and you should instead say, holiday times can be stressful. And they even provide examples to the holidays that will be replaced by this new way of saying things, like Christmas and Hanukkah. And if you go back to the quote from before, no one is left behind, says the European Commission, except Christians, of course, that according to this document should not refer to Christmas with the word Christmas, but rather holiday. That right there is the simplest form of discrimination. You pick a specific group of people and you remove something from them. In this case, words that are part of their culture. Notice also that the words being removed and replaced are only Christian or Jewish holidays. Nowhere in this document will you find references to Muslim holidays. I wonder why. No doubt the religion of peace would have no problems in seeing Ramadan, for example, replaced by holiday or some other word. Right after the replacement of the Christmas word, there's more. Use first name or forename or given name rather than Christian name. In examples and stories, do not only choose names that are typically from one religion. And again, they show you what to avoid. Maria and John are an international couple. And then what you should say instead of that. Malika and Giulio are an international couple. Again, notice how Christianity is the target of this guideline once more. According to the European Commission, using the names typically found in Europe or the religion from which European culture got the most influence from should be avoided. Even for an atheist like myself, it's undeniable that European culture is almost entirely based on the values and principles that came from Christianity. But the socialists and communists in the European Union don't care about reality, and they want to destroy our culture, and this document has many more examples of that. But before we continue, I would like to remind you that the European Parliament enforced a new rule a couple of years ago, a rule that prevented any member state flag from being in the European Parliament. This was painfully clear when Nigel Farage gave his final speech as MEP and waved the British flag. He was immediately cut off because he violated the rules, namely waving the flag of his country in the European Parliament.
I know you want to ban our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye, and we'll look forward in the future to working with you as sovereign.
If you disobey the rules, you get cut off. Could we please remove the flags?
However, in this document, the LGBTQ flag is perfectly valid and is used by the European Commission. Member state flags? Never again, says the European Commission. In fact, you will be punished if you dare to show them. LGBTQ flag? Of course, says the European Commission. Please use it whenever you can. If Christianity and Christians are being the target of attacks by the European Commission in this document, the LGBTQ community is considered to be a protected class. Again, this is all very inclusive. And of course, the document also has a set of guidelines to speak about people part of the LGBTQ community. Namely, what you should avoid saying, like using Mrs. or Mr. based only on the sex assigned at birth, as this disregards self-identification. And then what you should say instead, in case of doubt, use MX. Another guideline is: be careful about the use of gay and lesbian as nouns, which may be considered inappropriate. Transgender, bi, or intersex are not nouns. Say trans people, gay person, etc., or refer to the person explicitly. And so, the document says that you should avoid saying gays and lesbians are now allowed to marry in many EU countries. You should instead say same-gender couples are now allowed to marry or have registered partnerships in many EU countries. Avoid saying a gay, two lesbians, and instead say gay person, lesbian couple. There is a lot more in this document, and I suggest you read it entirely. You will then understand where your money is being spent as an European taxpayer. It's not spent on preventing criminals and terrorists from entering our countries and raping and killing us. It's not spent on providing a better life for those that actually pay taxes in Europe. It's actually spent on documents like these that claim to be about inclusivity, but clearly are about identifying the groups of people that should be protected and those that should be targeted. Christians are quickly becoming the most persecuted people in the world. In Muslim-majority countries, for example, Christians are persecuted and killed just because they have a different religion. And now even the European Union targets them in this document. Make no mistake about it, this document was not an accident. Christianity is the core of the European culture, and the socialists and communists in the European Union want to destroy it. This is just one of many steps to do it. Which is why the Pope's remarks were spot on. This is the behavior of a dictatorship. One of the first steps of any dictatorship is to attack the existing culture and eventually destroy it by dividing people into groups that will fight against each other, at which point the socialists and communists will take power by claiming they have the answer against the chaos they themselves created. And when that happens, it will be too late to go back. We cannot let this reach that point. The European Union needs to go away, and for that to happen, you must stop voting for liberals, socialists and communists, as they are the ones behind the attempts to destroy our culture. And remember, you can only do this while you can still vote. When the authoritarians take power, elections will be a thing of the past. To finish this video, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and the hope that 2022 brings a turning point to all the tyranny in Europe and all over the world. I hope you like this, and I'll see you next time.